Hello and welcome to the feedback video for assignment 6, Momentum. In this video we're going to focus on the last question of the assignment, and at the end of the video you'll be asked to complete a question that includes some similar concepts. Please pause the video, attempt the question and hand it back to your teacher as soon as possible. The final question of this assignment was checking your understanding of momentum and impulse. It wants us to calculate the velocity of the player after colliding with the posts. As this is talking about a collision, we are dealing with momentum. Even if you are unsure of how to answer this question or where to start, it's probably a reasonable thought to start with the player's initial momentum. We are given in the question both his mass and initial velocity, and using our momentum equation we can calculate an initial momentum of 880 kilogram meters per second towards the post. Now the player experiences a change in velocity when colliding with the post, and therefore a change in momentum. We can calculate this change in momentum by using our impulse equation and using the given variables of force and time that the force was applied. Notice that the force is negative. That is because it is a vector and its direction would be away from the post. Since I have already defined the player's velocity as positive, I must therefore take all variables acting towards the post as positive and all acting away from the post as negative. To calculate impulse, which is a change in momentum, I could minus the initial momentum from the final momentum. Or in this case, from the variables given, I can also multiply the force used to change the momentum by the time taken. Multiplying these together gives an answer for impulse of negative 968 newton seconds or negative 968 kilogram meters per second. These units are the same. Remember, impulse is the change in momentum. To calculate a change in something, we need to know what it was initially and what it has changed to. The difference between these values is the change. Now we know the initial momentum the player had before colliding with the post, and the impulse or change of momentum he experienced due to the force and contact time with the post. After rearranging and substituting the values into the rearranged formula, we can calculate the player's momentum after colliding with the post to be negative 88 kilogram meters per second. We now have the player's momentum after the collision, and momentum is the product of the player's mass and velocity. This is the velocity the question asked us for. His mass will be the same that is given in the question. We now need to rearrange our momentum equation to get the player's velocity as the subject. Therefore cancel it on one side of the equation and getting their velocity on its own as the subject. This gives us an answer of minus 0.8 meters per second. This negative tells us that the direction of the velocity is away from the post, which makes sense. Okay, if you could pause the video, attempt the question and hand it back to your teacher as soon as possible.